Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to learn about the tree maps. Tree maps are the hierarchical visualization that displays the data using the nested rectangles. Each rectangle represents a hierarchical level, with the size and color of the rectangle indicating a specific value or category. Tree maps excel at illustrating the hierarchical structure of data and visualizing it in the relative proportions of different categories within the hierarchy. They are particularly effective for comparing the different size of categories and identifying the trends or patterns within the complex data sets. Tree maps offer a unique and intuitive way to explore and analyze the hierarchical data, making them a valuable tool for data visualization. So let's go to the Power BI screen and I'll show you a sample of the tree map that I have created, and we will also see the steps to create a tree map. So I have a sample tree map in front of you. This is how the tree maps look like. Let's say this whole representation of a rectangle is for the profit or any measure value, such as the quantities that have been sold or the total sales that has been made. Now that complete part would be represented by a single rectangle, the bigger rectangle. Now inside that bigger rectangle, I would have some different partitions which can be represented by the different categories. So over here, I have taken the sum of the profit as the whole part where I have to take the size of the rectangle. Now inside that, I have some different categories in the form of technology, office supplies, and furniture. And inside that, when I have these small partition of different rectangles, they are showing me the different subcategories which are inside those categories. So in this part, we have a hierarchy in the form of the categories and then the subcategories. So in inside every category, I have some subcategories. And the size of the rectangle is denoting the sum of the profit each subcategory is making, and after that each category is making. So you can see, if I talk about the technology part, this is the biggest of the rectangle, and in the technology, copiers is the one which is giving me the most amount of profit. Then if we look at the category which is giving me the least amount of profit, furniture is the one, and in the furniture I have this furnishings which is giving me the least amount of profit. Now how do I know it? Because it is making the smallest rectangle in the furnitures category. If we talk about the office supplies, in that I have the fasteners which are giving me the least amount of profit. If I just go to the format here, visual part, and if I turn on the data labels over here, you can also see the values of each of the subcategories profit. Now how to create these kind of visual? So I will go to the new page, and in over here I have the stream map option. So I will click on over here. I will just expand it or maybe put it in the focus mode. First of all, I have the categories option. Now in this part, you have to keep the highest level of hierarchy for any thing. Let's say if your data is having any market and inside those markets there are multiple regions. So the top level hierarchy would be market. So you have to keep market over here. And let's say that if you are analyzing the data of different countries and inside those countries, I have different states. So in that case, the top level hierarchy would be the country. So in the categories, I will keep country. Right now, I'm having a column named as categories. In that, I have multiple subcategories. So I will choose this highest level of hierarchy category and I will put it inside this. Now, if you talk about the details, how do you want to divide that top level hierarchy? So I'm having this subcategories option. So I will drag and drop this subcategories in the details. After that, what would be the measures value? In what part do you want to measure these two values? Or if you want to make any rectangle, then the overall size should be decided by which factor? So I can keep this sales over here in the values. And this would make a tree map for me. Again, if I just press this back to report, and I will create this tree map for quantities sold. So let's go to the tree map, put it in the focus mode. Now let's say in the categories, again, I'm keeping this categories. In the details, I'm keeping the subcategories. And in the values, I'm keeping the quantity that has been sold. So you can see it is creating a different visual than it was creating the previous time. In the previous time, the technology was the one which was giving me the highest amount of profit. But if we talk about the quantity that has been sold, office supplies is the one which is taking over the highest amount of quantity sold. So after you have created the tree map, you can go in the format your visual and you can turn on the data labels. And also you can play with these category labels. If you don't want to show the category labels, you can turn these off and it won't show you any categories levels. So you can turn this on. If you want to change the color of any of the category, you can go in the colors option and you can control the colors from this part. So let's say I want to give it this color. I can change the color of each of the categories as well. So these would be the various formatting options that would be available in the visuals, and we'll be talking about these formatting options in the upcoming sessions as well. So this was the way in which you can create any tree map in which you can show the top level hierarchy and the distribution of that top level hierarchy in different parts, and the whole part would be shown in the form of a rectangle. Now this rectangle would be dependent on what is the value that you are taking in the values region. So in this values data part, what is the value that you're taking? Are you trying to analyze the different categories and subcategories or the different hierarchies on the basis of the sum of the items that have been sold or the profit that has been generated or the sales that has been done? So these all things can be done. Okay. Now let's say if you have seen this sum of the quantities in the values, and if you want that every time you hover over any category or any subcategory, you want to also see the sales that it has made. So I also have these tooltips options. Now you can drag and drop this sales in this tooltip. So every time I hover over any subcategory, it is showing me the sum of the quantity that it has sold. Also, it is showing me the sum of the sales for that particular subcategory. So this tooltip can control what would be the value that would be shown when you hover over any values. So this was all for this session. I hope Treemap is clear to you. In the next session, we'll be talking about the different map options that are present in Power BI. Thank you.